Drum roll, please.
Extra gravy, like it was pretty good to start with.
Picture this, I'm on my sofa, still trying to complete Tears of the Kingdom, and I get a message from Kyle, asking if I want to be part of these events that he runs in Manchester called Pecha Kucha. It's where each speaker has 20 slides at 20 seconds each to talk about the theme of transparency. And of course, my initial reaction was, oh hell no! Because on paper, speaking in front of 200 people is probably my worst nightmare. But then a voice of reason popped into my head. There's no way that excuse is gonna fly. Just because you're scared and letting the worst case scenario get in your head. We gotta grab our fears by the neck and slay them. Remember, we're climbing Cringe Mountain? And it made me realize, actually, I could do my talk about climbing Cringe Mountain. I've always wanted to talk about that. So I picked up the phone and I said, let's do it. And then when I put my phone down, I went back to playing games and I completely forgot about it until 1 week before the event. While I make my presentation and make some cool handouts for my talk, I'm gonna explain what climbing Cringe Mountain is all about and how it changed my life completely. So first, what is cringe? With social media came cringe culture, and it's so easy to find hate comments on a video where someone is doing anything slightly unusual, from wearing different clothes to just being themselves. But who gets to decide if something is cringe or not? I think it's up to us. And I know it was holding me back a lot in my life. You would not even have been able to recognize me 5 or 6, 7 years ago. I was such an anxious wreck. And later on in life, I found out this was actually due to autism. But reasons aside, I still really wanted to be stronger and not let every little thing compound and hold me back. So then I came across this concept called climbing Cringe Mountain on TikTok. It's an idea where you imagine yourself at the bottom of a mountain, and to get to the top, you have to do one step at a time doing cringe things until you become stronger, immune to it, like a sort of exposure therapy that tries to show you that nothing is ever that serious and it's rewarding to be transparent. So obviously at the start of the mountain, things are going to feel really, really difficult. For me, it was ordering food in public, talking to strangers, making eye contact with strangers, and then slowly you do these things and you realize the world is not that scary as it is in your head, at least. It's such a full circle moment, because me doing this talk is also me taking a step up Cringe Mountain, and I'm kind of scared still. I've never spoken in front of 200 people before in my life, but I'm actually kind of excited to do it. My friends are going to be there. I'm talking about something I'm really excited about and I've never actually spoken about before. So yeah.
I have nightmares every night, and they're always random, but last night it was about me being late for the event. I just missed the train, and then I missed the next train, then I missed the next train, and I was crying and screaming, and I was I wish I could die and just start this day all over again. And then I woke up. I've been given another chance. I'm gonna be there 6 hours early now.
Okay, guys, so we're getting close. It is now pretty much almost 3 o'clock. Basically 2 more hours until I have to leave for the event. And I'm just gonna do a practice run. Now, look at my notes. They're a little bit chaotic. My plan was to just have these in my hand and fidget with these. But I just remembered, looking back at previous talks, they have a microphone in their hand. I think I'm just gonna practice with this, which is obviously a microphone. See if I can multitask with my hands. Okay, worst case scenario, I can just read one and throw it on the floor. The great thing about this talk is that I can be cringe, I can mess up, I can do embarrassing things, I can even fall over. And the more embarrassing I am, the better it is for my cause, because that's what this talk is all about. I've kind of, done myself a favor here by picking this topic. Okay, let's do a little practice run because I want to see how good I am at eye contact with the crowd. It's so funny because in my talk, I'm talking about how I overcame cringe and I'm stronger now, and I definitely do things that scare me way more often now without hesitation. But that doesn't mean I'm totally immune. There's still things that scare me, of course, and I have that ingrained habit of worst case scenario, thinking about it. Yeah, I'm doing that right now a little bit, let's be honest, but this is what it's all about. You gotta catch yourself doing it and stop it as soon as possible. I think it's okay. I need to start getting ready, otherwise my nightmare is going to come true. Okay. Okay.
So, 6 minutes, 40 seconds, goes quickly. You ready, Yusra?
It's me.
Round of applause, please. Everything as ever.
4 years ago, I moved to a city where I knew no people, no family, no friends. And the good thing about a fresh start is you can decide to be whoever you want. So I decided to stop being normal and be a little crazy. And it was all thanks to a challenge called, drumroll please, climbing Cringe Mountain. So before I explain what this is, let's talk about the word cringe, because with social media, cringe culture has like really blown up, and you'll get bullying on any kind of normal video, well, anything that's a little bit different, people dressing differently or just being themselves. But who gets to decide what's cringe or not? I think it's up to us. So this is Cringe Mountain. So imagine you're at the bottom. To get to the top, you need to take one step at a time doing cringe things, and you'll like build an immunity to it. You'll get stronger, and when you get to the top, you're free and things won't faze you anymore. I'm gonna share how I turned from a kid who was very anxious, who didn't even speak for many years, to now speaking in front of you guys on the stage, which is crazy, and I'm still shaking, I'm breaking it. Thank you. So, hi, my name is Yusra. I'm an illustrator, and I love anything to do with humans, human stories, emotions, feelings. And I also post on YouTube every week, documenting my story as a creative and running a small art business, kind of the ups and downs of that. Back to the very start of this story, of course I was always a diva, but if my younger self, if I was an animal, it would be an owl. So big anxious eyes, hiding away, loves being in my room alone at night. But when I went to high school, things got even worse, and my social anxiety was so bad I couldn't walk into a full classroom, and I couldn't even make eye contact with strangers. And that's where illustration came into my life, because that helped me really like process my feelings and the things I was going through, and I didn't really have anyone to speak to about these kind of things, so I would illustrate it instead. But there's only so many times you can illustrate yourself, so then I started looking into the stories and experiences of others. And in my 4th year of university, I did this really fun project called Airplane Mode, where I collected stories from all around the world with people experiencing loneliness. We've even got a submission from the Antarctica as well, which is really cool. From this point onwards then, anything like people related, human, anthropology related was like a really big interest of mine, and it's one of my favorite things to illustrate today. And I do a lot of like editorial work, so that kind of works in nicely as well. These are just some examples of things I've done. After graduating uni, I was itching to move from my hometown where I'd always lived, Edinburgh, and I moved to Manchester instead. I got a job as a graphic designer, and pretty much just it was a clean slate from there. And then the final push for me, at the age of 24, I got some very obvious, obviously not obvious enough, news that I have autism, and that's like what it all boiled down to. Like that's the reason why I was so nervous growing up. Now I suddenly had some context as to why I was struggling when I was younger. I kind of realized that I had been putting a mask on my whole life, always kind of performing, and it was exhausting, and that's actually what was making my social anxiety compound so badly. So with all this new knowledge, I kind of realized I had to face my fears if I wanted to get stronger, and that started off with doing something that I'd never done before, ordering food at KFC. So that's really where it started for me. So I will share some more examples of things I had to do to get stronger. And some of these will sound very normal, but as I just said before, I was really starting from the bottom, cringe prison, if you will. So I'm gonna go through some examples here, starting off strong with, yes, ordering food in person. The reward, extra gravy, like it was pretty good to start with. And I'm just kind of like learning that people don't stop and point and laugh at you randomly in the street, and most of the battle was really inside my own head. So this was a good place to start. Then very hard, filming in public, because I do my YouTube, I kind of had to start doing that if I wanted to make cool videos. And this is easier the more you do it. And then finally, level impossible, telling the truth. So I always used to just tell people what they wanted to hear, and like that's very exhausting. So now I like stand up for myself a little bit more. And actually today a street preacher asked me who I worshipped, and I told him the truth, Julia Fox. He didn't know what to say to that. This is probably about my YouTube. Oh yeah, so I learned that doing difficult things, there was more to gain from being transparent than there was to lose, right? Like I started doing new things, being the person I wanted. It was a lot less intimidating once you kind of try it. And hopefully this inspired you guys to be a little bit more of a freak, like in a nice way. It's about silencing those voices in your head. Like, who are you when no one is watching, when no one is judging? That's what embracing the cringe and being yourself is all about. And I have these handouts. I'll leave them by the bar if you want to pick one up. But I'm cringe and I'm free. That's the bottom line, really.
Oh my gosh. Like shaking the whole
Hello. I love that you had a moving KFC.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Like really low.
Oh yeah. I can get in frame.
Can we all be the same height for just one video?
Yeah.
How do we do the outro?
You tell me. It's your career.
You said the goodbye scene.
YouTuber where they put the hand.
I don't even do lyrics. What about like a High School Musical kind of jump?
And then I freeze it at the end.
perfect.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know. I'm climbing Cringe Mountain right now.
Yeah, we're climbing Cringe Mountain. 3, 2, 1. Yeah! Look what I've got. Mysterious brown package. What could it be? Also, can we just have a moment for my nails? Oh my god, I did these myself last night. I don't know how to show off my nails. Oh, look at this. Okay, wait, they're a little bit messy. So you remember the handouts that I had at the event, right? Well, they were such a success. People loved them so much. So I got some holographic versions of these stickers made. Look at that glimmer. You've got to be kidding me. And of course the quote, I'm cringe, but I am free. Check the link in my bio, and they're now up for sale as well. If you want to, you know, climb Cringe Mountain with me, be part of the club. I'm really happy to finally be branching out into stickers. This is the first batch of stickers I've ever done, and I am in love with how they've turned out. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you on another video. Bye.